Oh, hello there. I was just putting some fine details on these Sisters of Battle miniatures, and it turns out that Games Workshop have released a new beta codex for Sisters of Battle, or Adepta Sororitas as they are known. So I have it right here. So I'm going to give my impressions, first impressions that is, on the codex itself. And we'll see if it's any good compared to the last one. Spoiler, it's not as bad as a lot of people seem to think. Initial reactions make sense, but there we go. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is it's a printout of a photocopy of the actual section in Codex in Chapter Approved 2018. The reason I've done this is just because I don't want all the other crap in Chapter Approved. This means I can arrange stuff the way I want. I can put stratagems at the front, so easy access, put the points right at the back. So I basically can access whatever I need much easier. Also, the benefit of this is, if I want to, I can just pop this page out and use it during play, so I've got a quick reference sheet as well. Makes it a bit easier. But right off the bat then, I'll do it in the order I've got it here, obviously, because first off is stratagems. We've got 14 new stratagems here. We've lost the 2 we had in Chapter Approved 2017. That is fine, because one of them is back here. The other one has been changed, kind of. So anyway, first off you've got the 1 command point where you can get an extra relic. That's good. We've actually got extra relics to take now. That's something new that we didn't have before, so can't complain about that. If you spend 3 command points, you can get up to 2 extra relics. Not sure you'd do that unless you really want... in big points games where you have a lot of command points anyway, I could see it happening because you want more buffs going on. But overall, I don't think that's going to happen too often. Burning Descent is the one that was spoiled. It's the Seraphim squad. When they deep strike, hand flamers range is increased to 12 inches. That's good. And they basically get to do an extra shooting attack. So it's a bit like our old Act of Faith, except now you spend a command point. You can only do it on Seraphim. You can only do it on the deep strike, which obviously is turn 2 at the earliest in most cases. You still have to be more than 9 inches away from the models, so Inferno pistols are completely useless from this. It's not bad because they get to shoot again in the shooting phase. Honestly, if you had Seraphim with hand flamers on, why would you before? Even though now they've improved, they're still not that good. Maybe you would use that, but otherwise, whatever. I think it's not going to get used very often. You have the Suffer Not the Witch, which is basically when you attack a Psyker or Psyker units, you get to reroll failed to wound rolls. That's not bad. Okay, so it's not bad if you really need a Psyker to die. I can see that being pretty useful for 1 command point. It's not too bad. We've got one exclusively for Arco-Flagellants. This is actually really nice. Turns their D3 attacks into free attacks. So it removes that random bit, and that obviously bumps up the amount of attacks they're doing like crazy. Arco's got better, which is amazing because they already were one of our best units in the Codex, and now suddenly they're even better. So fair enough. The drawback for this is that once they've done that, you have to roll a d6 for every single Arco, max unit 9, and on a 6, the model is killed. Now Arcos have 2 wounds each. They've got slightly better defensively, so that's actually really bad in a way. And for 2 command points, that's a little bit too expensive. I would have said maybe they take D3 multiple wounds at the end would be okay, or just drop the command point cost to 1, and it would be useful. But there we go. What are we doing? Okay, so the next one is Vessels, or Vessel of the Emperor's Will. This is the one that everyone's talking about. It's 3 command points. I believe it's only 3 command points all we have. Yes, it is. Okay, so basically you do a test of faith on a character. Okay, if she passes, then you use this for 3 command points, and the act of faith that was used on the character affects everyone within 6 inches. Now, as far as I'm aware, that pairs with the relic that increases the range of aura effects by 3 inches, so you could do it up to 9 inches. it's not bad. It's not bad at all. If you really want everything around the character to do it, then yeah, it would work. It's not terrible. The thing is, I feel like it's a bit of a trap because, you know, you've got to do the test of faith on the character. If it passes, are you really going to want the same test of faith on everyone around you? How many people do you have around you at the time? Like, the obvious one is the movement one, but, you know, 3 inches extra movement isn't that great. It's okay, it's not that great, and it's not going to be used that often, I think. The other one is the healing one, but usually, unless you're going second, which would help in that case, usually you're not going to need to heal that many units around the character beyond the first turn. And obviously once you're beyond the first turn, you're going to be spreading out, you're going to be doing things in the mission to actually win the mission. So, 3 command points, it's situational, but, you know, if you need it, it's there. I can't see myself using it very often, but there we go. Okay, for 1 command point, Repentia Squad. This is the one where when they die on a 4+, well, roll d6 for each model that dies on a 4+, inflicts a mortal wound. That's not the best, but it's fluffy, fits with Repentia, you can see it being useful because they're squishy and they're likely to die. The good thing about that is it's actually a way of getting mortal wounds in our army. In the Index we have no way of doing it. In this we have no way of doing it beyond this stratagem, so I'll take what I can get at this point. I really wish there was some other ways of doing mortal wounds, because if there's one thing I absolutely despise, it's playing against armies with a high invulnerable save, and we have no way of getting through it. And the reason I hate that, and I've hated that for many, many editions now, is that if your opponent is rolling hot on their dice, there is literally nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how well you roll on your dice, it doesn't matter how much better your tactics are, your strategies, anything like that. If they are always getting their invulnerable save, and they're rolling hot, and this does happen, then there is literally nothing you can do. And I hate that kind of thing. I'd much rather have something that rewards strategy, planning, all that kind of stuff. So having a way of getting some kind of mortal wounds is not terrible. Okay, so now the one that's very controversial that everyone's going on about. Blessed Bolts, basically Storm Bolters. Blah blah blah, you shoot the Storm Bolters, they get -2 AP, it's not bad, damage characteristic of 2. It's not terrible. Everyone's going on about the Seraphims, it's not Seraphim, what am I on about? Dominion squads having it for, you know, 5 Storm Bolters. I have used Storm Bolter Dominions before, but usually when I'm using them they're on foot, and it's just a cheap little filler, or I'm going for a fast attack detachment, extra command points, that kind of thing. Not terrible, situational. I could see it being used on regular squads with 3 Storm Bolters in there, dirt cheap. If you need it, you need it. Personally, I think there's better things to spend a command point on, but there we go. I don't see it being viable, building Dominion squads, specifically Storm Bolters to go, you know, the usual setup in a transport. I don't see that happening very often, especially because they have to hop out anyway, so cheap and cheerful, bit of extra damage, it's not too bad. What do we have here? Okay, so Faith and Fury is when you've made a successful test of faith roll, you can spend this for 1 command point, reroll wound rolls of 1. That's actually pretty good. The reason being is because you get to see if you've passed your test of faith first before you start making the wound. Well, before you do the stratagem, so you're not wasting the command point, essentially. So, for instance, on Melter Dominions, you get the +1 to hit when shooting. You use this stratagem, and you're re-rolling 1s. If you're using Melters against most targets, you're probably wounding on 2, so you get into re-roll to wound. That makes a big difference to me. There's been many, many times where my Dominions have managed to whiff killing a tank and that kind of thing. So, or like characters. So you get this in the right situation. I can see myself using that one quite a lot. We've got Purity of Faith. This is when... Oh, this is the For It Feel No Pain. It says the For It Feel No Pain against psychic powers. 1 command point. Pretty niche, but, you know, it says when they manifest the psychic power. So I'm guessing that basically means if they've definitely passed and you've failed to deny it, you can use this as a backup, essentially. So that's another good one. You know, it's probably not going to get used that much. I'd probably just eat the D3 rather than spend command points. But, you know, if they're getting a D6 smite, it could help lessen the hurt. It could keep someone alive. So it's not terrible. Martyrdom, this is one that changed from last in... what's it called? Chapter Approved, sorry. Right, so when a character is slain, you gain D3 faith points. If it's a warlord, you gain 3. Yeah. It's not brilliant, but, you know, probably never use it. But there we go. Okay, Sacred Banner of the Order Militant. So, basically, this is when you have a Simulacrum Imperialis. It's 1 command point, yet again. When used until the end of the battle round, basically you spend the command point before the battle starts. You choose a battle round to use it in, and until the end of the battle round, vulnerable save of everyone in the unit increases by 1. It says a maximum of 3+, but that's going to take a lot of stacking, and to be honest, that's not going to be very relevant for things that have this. You can use the stratagem once per battle, fair enough. Yeah, 1 command point. If you've got Simulacrum Imperialises, it's something in your back pocket for when you're getting attacked. Is it at the start of the round? Yeah, it's at the start of a battle round. So, for that to happen, you need to know what's going to attack you to make it worthwhile. I could see it being useful in that your opponent wants to attack a particular unit with this setup, and you don't want them to, or you want to dissuade them from hurting it, at which point you use this this stratagem, and then they're going to be less infused to do it because your vulnerable save is higher, it's going to be wasting more shots, and it might attack something else entirely. So I can see it being useful. Honestly, Dominions is one of the few things I can see it being used on. Retributors maybe, but honestly Retributors tend to be okay because they're at the back, and there's still very few things that get through to the back that often, in the games I play at least, because we go forward as an army. People tend to ignore the back, but there we go. So, Holy Trinity, this is one which is a relic from the 6th edition Codex and the weird formation thing they had for Apocalypse or whatever. 1 command point, So, there's been a lot of confusion about this. You have to have 1 model with a bolter of some sort or other, you have to have 1 model with a flamer of some sort or other, and you have to have 1 model with a melter or a verno pistol of some sort or other in the same unit. You can't have a combi weapon count as both. You can use it for 1 of them, like the flamer or the melter or the bolter, but you can't use it for 2 instead. So you have to have all 3 of those models. They all have to attack the same target, and basically you get +1 to wound rolls. That's pretty good. Personally, I think Faith and Fury is better, because it's essentially doing the same kind of thing, with the reroll of 1s. I mean, it's not guaranteed that you get the reroll, I guess, but I honestly, it's the same cost. You don't have to build a unit around it. It's more flexible, and you get to use it after you've used a test of Faith roll. So, Faith and Fury, I think, is better than this, personally. There's going to be situations where it will help, but considering what you have to go, all the hoops you have to jump through just to do this, I don't see it being used, honestly. Okay, so last 2, Sacred Rites. Use stratagem at the starting movement phase. Gain 1 Faith point. Pointless. 1 CP for Rally the Faithful. This is the last one. This is a really good one. Use a stratagem. An Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army fails a morale test. Half the number of models that flee rounding down. So that if you're rounding down, that can go down to 0. So if you've got 1 that flees, 0. This is good because it's after you've done your morale test. So let's say you have a chance that you know, some are going to run, but some might not. If you roll well enough on the morale test, you know, you might not get any that flee. Let's say you get one that flees, you can use this for one command point, none will flee, or maybe you can suffer a couple, that kind of thing. And it's only half the cost of the auto pass morale. And that's a stratagem I actually use fairly often because I want to keep units alive so I can heal them, that kind of thing. That might change now, but all the same, that's pretty good. I'd say that's one of the better stratagems. So that's that. Next section is just blah blah blah, the usual stuff about how orders work, how troops get the stupid, what's it called? Objective secured. Sorry guys. And then we have the Acts of Faith, the new Acts of Faith that everyone hates because they don't really do anything, except they kind of do in a way. So obviously it's a problem. You roll a d6, they can fail. You only have so many faith points in the army, and to start with, you start with 3 for a battle-forged army, and you get 1 for extra 10 models you have with the order keyword. So that does include rhinos and things, but you're not going to have 10 rhinos, so it's probably not going to make that much difference any round down anyway. So even if you have 9 extra models, you're only getting the base thing, so it's a bit pants. You can get extra faith points in other ways, but that's not really important. So rather than moving twice, okay, shooting twice, all this really powerful stuff that we had, it was honestly a poor mechanic. When it came out, it seemed lazy because it was basically the Ynnari thing anyway, which they should never have in the first place. It's ridiculous, but whatever. It just seemed like a complete... We don't know what to do with them, so here we go. You know, we'll just shove this shite in, and it was honestly a big waste of a potentially very fun system. So anyway, yes, Acts of Faith have got less powerful, but considering how it worked before, something had to change, really. Now, would I have the old Index Acts of Faith over this? No, I would honestly rather have a completely different system entirely, but in terms of raw power, there's no denying the Index was much, much better. I have specifically asked in the beta test that we compare how it was compared to the Index. Like, do we feel it's on par with the Index? No, it's not, so tell them that, I guess, but hopefully they'll do something better than this. So, one of the big problems with this is that, you know, they've got different values. You can increase your odds of getting off with some Imperialis. It's basically the effects they have. So, on a 4-up, a single unit gets 3 inches extra to its move. Now that's not terrible, because if you advance that unit, and it's a standard unit, that's going at least 10 inches, okay? That's not bad. It's probably going to go further than that, of course. So, in the right situation, that's okay. But the problem is, you need a 4+ just to do that. That should be almost automatic for 3 inches. If it was a 4-up, then maybe a bit faster. It could be more useful if, for instance, you had 3 inches to move and assault and advance. Like, if you have all 3, like the stupid orcs do, I believe, that would help. You know, you get more speed overall, and it'd be more worth spending the point in the first place, taking that roll, which is probably never going to happen. What I think is going to happen overall with faith points is people are going to look for the ones that are pretty much guaranteed to work and only use them on those. I honestly can't see people going for too much, with the exception of the passion, because if you pass, that's really good. Another thing that could have made this work is if they really wanted to just be 3 inches and this difficult, why limit the amount of points someone can spend on an Act of Faith? Why not allow people to spend all their points on getting a single Act of Faith off if they want? Why limit player choice like that? Why only let people do the 1 Act of Faith of one type in a turn? Why not let people spend as many points as they want across their army? So, if I want to move all my units and I don't want to use vessels, why can't I just go and hand to the Emperor, hand to the Emperor, hand to the Emperor on every unit? You know, I'm still taking that risk, I'm still spending the faith points. And, you know, I've wasted all my faith points in that sense, but hey, there you go, that's my choice. It's not going to break the game, but I feel like it's the over-nerf reaction, it's the knee-jerk reaction to what we could do before, where we were pretty much one of the fastest armies, if not the fastest army in the game. So it makes sense, but, you know, we're back to being slow again. That's fine. Okay, Spirit of the Martyr. This is the healing one. Devotion value 3 up. That's not bad. It's not terrible. It's the same as it always was, really. Remember, you can't set up a model within 1 inch of an enemy model, so if you're surrounded in assault, it's not going to help them. Okay, so Aegis of the Emperor, it's a value 3. Roll d6 each time the unit suffers a mortal wound. On a 4+, the mortal wound is ignored. So again, it's the 4 feel no pain from the stratagem, except now you use a faith point. This is in the psychic phase, for the record. Not bad. Again, probably not going to happen that often. I don't see me using it, really. So use the active faith in a shooting phase. Oh, Divine Guidance, this is the good one. So on a 4-up, this one to hit with ranged weapons. Probably going to be one of the most used ones. Passion, this is the really good one because it's just like before. You can fight twice in the phase. Devotion value 5, so you get to fight twice with a unit. Where this is different is it's not an immediate pile-in and fight like the old one was, so you can't do it out of phase. Also, because you can fight twice in the phase, it means that you pick a unit to fight. If no one's charged, your opponent then picks a different unit, then you could pick the same unit again. You can't immediately fight twice in a row. They can basically interrupt. They could even interrupt by spending 2 command points if they wanted. Though if they're doing that, at least they're wasting 2 command points. So it's not terrible. I can see it being very useful. Something you probably will go for at least once a game because, hey, you get to fight twice. But then again, it's not going to work every time. Even if you stack all the stuff, you're kind of wasting points on that point. Like the Emperor, woohoo! You automatically pass morale. You use this at the start of the morale phase. This is good. This is, again, 2 command points to automatically pass. And the basic stratagem, we have that other command point to limit the amount in case that fails. You can also use it in case this fails. This is devotion value 3 up. We're basically going to be pretty immune to morale, so I can see me using that quite a lot. Finally, Shield of Faith. This is exactly the same as what it was before. Yes, the 6-up invulnerable save is not that great compared to before, but at least we always get a save. I can't really complain about that. Despite what people say, the stuff I get shot with on my sister squads often does require me to have an invulnerable save, so I can't complain too much. Especially when it's like Dominions with Melters and expensive single models like that they're trying to kill. They'll fire their own melters and stuff like that, or -4 weapons. So having a 6-up save is not terrible. It's not brilliant, but, you know, I'll take it. And also it helps on tanks and stuff, because at least you're always getting the save. The bad part, of course, is the Psychic Denial on a single d6. Again, completely useless. What a ridiculous idea it was from the start. Never ever happened in a single game. There was one game I've had so far where someone rolled a 5 on Smite, and I had a chance to deny it. But of course you've got to get a 6-up to deny it, so again, nothing happened. What they could do is either make it work on ties, so it denies if you even match the value, so a 6 or a 5 would work in most cases. Doubles the chance effectively, and affects the amount of powers that can actually be affected by it. Increases the amount, sorry. Although what I think would be better is if you got to add a d6 for every other unit that was nearby. So for instance, you want to deny a Psyker and they're surrounded by Systems of Battle models. You can choose as many units as you want to add the single d6 into the denial. So if you wanted, you could spend all 5 units, say, and have 5 d6 to deny that power, and you're definitely denying that power at that point. Or you could just take your luck with 2 and see if you can beat it as normal. Or, you know, you could just, like, really just try with 1 still if you wanted. That way you get rewarded for having more people on it. It's fluffy because they're all denying the witch, essentially. And also it means the enemy psyker has to be careful about how they put things on. Like, do they want to stay away from that many units, which would make sense, you know, or are they going to be smart, cast one power, get us to spend all our Deny the Witches on that for every single unit nearby, then cast the second power and we've got no Deny the Witches left because you can only deny it once a turn. So I think that would be a much better thing. It scales with the army, that kind of thing, but obviously at the moment it's completely useless and never going to happen. Quick thing about war gear. Lay weapons, we've lost the power axe, that's gone. We've lost the eviscerator, there is no options to take those in here. However, you can still take them in the index versions, so it really makes no difference, but don't throw away your index, obviously. So there you go. And then we're basically onto the units, but I'm going to flip to the end, because I'd rather go over some of these in this video, and I'm going to go into the units properly in separate videos so we can actually look at what's going to happen. But first off, blah blah blah, you have, where is it? Okay, yeah, so the different order convictions are pretty much bog standard. One of them is a 6-up Feel No Pain, not bad, always effective, you know, just completely nullifying damage on a 6-up. It's honestly always been good. Another one is when you lose a unit, you gain a faith point. That's good because it's certain and it means that your remaining units are still going to be strong, like they can come back. It's not bad, it's free essentially, so it's not terrible. Probably never going to be picked though. Add 1 to the result of tests of faith, this is Ebon Chalice, sorry, for units with this conviction. I can see that being useful for reliability, but it's a finite resource, just like command points. I've never really felt like building for command points is a good thing for sisters. Previous, because our Acts of Faith kind of made up for that. That might change now, but I'd rather build for command points than Acts of Faith or faith points, so yeah, if you want to do that, you've got a strategy worked out, go for it. Honestly, I don't think that's going to be picked that much either, or it just won't be as good. Now, Argent Shroud, this is interesting because basically whenever you kill an enemy unit, you roll d6 on a 4+, you gain a faith point. That's nice, but at that point, would you not just take the other one where you're guaranteed to get a faith point for every unit you lose? And, you know, if you're winning to the point where you're destroying all their units anyway, then you really don't need the faith points, essentially. So at least the other one helps you get back in the game if you're losing. The other one helps you stay on top, but you're already on top, and that's usually quite easy to do anyway. So I honestly don't think that's as good, especially because it's not reliable. It's 50-50, and you have no idea how many units they have, so you can't really plan around it. Bloody Rose is probably the best one. Add 1 to strength and attacks characteristics. Any turn, made a charge move, were charged, or performed a heroic intervention. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Probably the one I'll be using the most. Possibly the Feel No Pain one, but we'll see. Sacred Rose is okay. So you never lose more than a single model to a morale test. But as we've just seen from all the other stuff, there's a lot of ways of dealing with morale loss now. And to be honest, there's even more if you look at some of the unit's special abilities. So that while it is very useful in some armies, I feel like in this case it's not as powerful as it would be. You also get to Overwatch on 5 or 6. Yeah, I mean, maybe every now and then that's going to really make a difference, but compared to the effects of the other ones, it's not going to make as much of a difference. Honestly, Valorous Heart with the Feel No Pain is going to do more consistently than Sacred Rose. But overall, Bloody Rose, that's the one to go with. Guys, hope you liked the video, and if you did, I'm just going to say I have started a Patreon. So if you want to support the channel and help me to actually have some time to make these videos, get them out faster and basically improve the quality of them, because That's a recurring issue. You can find that basically at patreon.com/TortleTalk. Even a small donation would be amazing. For those who don't want to donate, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment below, and share the video around as much as you can, because as many people who can see this, the better, basically. I can spend money on improving the channel, for starters, but also it means I can actually afford to make videos more often. I'm also going to be making a Facebook group soon. This will primarily be focused on Sisters of Battle and Eldar tactics, with more of a weighting towards Sisters of Battle because there isn't that much out there for Sisters players. And of course, with the beta codex and the eventual model release, there's probably going to be quite a few things that need taking care of that haven't really been taken care of yet. So I'm going to be starting a Facebook group. You're welcome to join. I will put the link in a video. I'll make a special video for it when it actually happens. And then I'll put the link in every video description. Same with the Patreon. So there's a link to the Patreon down below. Yep, anything you can do to help this channel and any kind of feedback you have is fantastic. Thanks for watching again. See you next time.